Hey guys, how's it going and welcome back for another Total War video with the Terminator. In today's video, I'm going to run through a very quick mod showcase for 1100 AD because it just got two new factions that I know a lot of you have been dying to get your hands on. The Kingdom of England has an easy start in 1100 AD. It's surrounded by a lot of friendly factions and it's now playable in the mod. So if you want to just update your mod on Steam or, restart your Steam, restart your PC, whatever you want to do, it will get updated and you will get access to the Kingdom of England finally. And we've also got the Kingdom of Poland, another highly anticipated faction, and it's much harder than England, guys. You've got cities spread out between 3 provinces. You've got potential enemies all around you who view you in a very negative light. So it's a very cool faction to get into. So starting with England, guys, you've got Dorchester, London, and York. You've got the Norse expedition, which own Leicester. You've got Wales, Ireland, and Scotland around you as well in the British Isles. And then across the channel, you've got France and Amiens. You've got Rouen, which is the Duchy of Normandy, and the Duchy of Brittany here in Nantes. So all of these factions are pretty much in a yellow kind of diplomatic standing with you, which means, you can pick and choose who you want to have non-aggression pacts with trade agreements with. You can pretty much pick and choose who you want to expand out into first. Usually I go for Leicester first because it's a pretty easy target. It's between you in London and York, and it's a nice way to kind of start consolidating this province. And then, you can either expand out into the British Isles here as well, or you could even just make friends with these guys and go across the English Channel and attack France as well. Like the opportunity here to make this campaign your own is quite big. As England, you start with 7,000 in your coffer, which is pretty good. You also have Imperium level 3, which you've just pretty much gotten into. And Imperium level 3 does some pretty negative things for you as well. It gives you plus 10% upkeep for all land units, and plus 15% cost for mercenary recruitment is quite big as well. So this is important to keep in mind, I'd say. But apart from that, you've got a really nice fleshed out family tree as the Norman dynasty. William the Conqueror is now dead, and the king is Henry I. You've got a Norman side of the family as well. Just keep that in mind, which is all really nice. Definitely adds a bit of immersion for the faction. So another reason why England is such an easy faction to get started with here, guys, is because the roster is so balanced. You've got a nice array of units, both cavalry, melee units, ranged infantry as well. And to be honest, this English army, and how visually amazing they look, by the way. Look at these units. They can counter pretty much any army that gets thrown at them. They have a really nice array of crossbowmen that can attack from range. You've got melee infantry in terms of heavy swordsmen, spearmen, and axemen even. And honestly, these cavalry can cut through anything. And it's really, the visual quality of England as a faction is absolutely breathtaking. And the battles, it really comes to life, especially in 1100 AD with how well some of these units are skinned. And it's just so good. It brings me a massive feeling of medieval type Total War with England. It's really well done. So kudos to the mod developer Starsmill for finally getting England released. It's such a great faction to get into, especially if you're just starting in the mod for the first time. I highly recommend it, guys. And then we have Poland, guys, and honestly, Poland is so much fun. I'm really glad it's out in the open and you guys can play it now, because honestly, the opportunity here to create a Polish empire is amazing, and it's got a really nice starting position as well. So you've got a lot of factions around you. You've got Pomerania, Lutychi to your north. You've got Thuringia and Bohemia to your west. You've got the principalities of Polotsk and Volyn to your east, and you've got Moravia and Hungary to your south. And all of these factions are, again, in a decent position to be friends with, or you could attack some of them, but make no mistake, some of them will definitely attack you. You've got 3 cities to start with. You're in the middle of everyone, and I'm pretty sure Thuringia and Pomerania, at least Pomerania, is going to go right into the fray and start attacking you right from the beginning. As Poland, you also start on Imperium level 2, which is pretty good since you don't have those same negative effects that you get in Imperium level 3, and it's got a pretty nicely fleshed out family tree as well, with Vladislav I as the king and 5 children, which means you're probably always going to have an heir going on. What makes Poland so difficult at the start though is all of these factions around you guys. You've got a nice unit roster that you have access to right at the start, which is all well and good, but the Principality of Pomerania is going to attack you right at the start. You've got these other factions that you're not quite sure about in the west as well. I mean, it's very, very possible that Thuringia and Bohemia attack you as well, and you don't want to get into a two-front war. So it is going to be difficult to deal with. I'd recommend building up your armies as quickly as possible, maybe pushing your king up north, getting some mercenaries and trying to take Gdansk before the garrison fills out, and then yeah, basically expand out to establish a nice Polish empire here. And then finally, guys, we have the Polish unit roster, which looks really, really good. I mean, some of these shield designs, the individual variety is just absolutely breathtaking. It's visually one of my favorite factions now. This is the medium infantry here that we're looking at, and they just look really, really, really good. As an Eastern European faction, I think you're going to be mainly focused around melee infantry to hold that front line here. So this is our heavy melee infantry swordsman here that you can look at. Absolutely breathtaking. While your cavalry, your heavy cavalry, flanks around for that classic hammer and anvil tactic here against your enemies. And this is the noble Polish cavalry here. So we've got some really, really nice looking visuals with these units here as well. Just really well done. Really big kudos to Starsmill for making this faction come to life on the battlefield. They just look so good. Visually, I think Poland might be one of my favorite factions to get into now. So that's the General Bodyguard. We've also got the Polish Heavy Lancers here. They're shock cavalry, which again, I mean, it just looks so impressive. I hope you agree with me. It's just really, really well done. These guys are going to come around, be that powerful punch into the back of the enemy front line to break them apart and relieve your front line, your heavy infantry holding them up. So that's going to be what Poland is all about on the battlefield, and it's just really well done. I mean, it's balanced around that melee infantry holding that front line, which visually looks amazing, while your cavalry comes from behind and causes those issues. And that's it for today, guys. England and Poland is released. You can play them right now in the mod in 1100 AD. They've got some brilliant looking unit visuals, a really balanced campaign in terms of giving you the opportunity to expand any way you like. And honestly, they're just a lot of fun to get into. They've been highly anticipated. I know a lot of you have been dying to get into England especially, and you can now. So it's all here and ready to get into. And that's it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, give it a like and drop any thoughts or questions in the comment section below. Subscribe for more Total War content, gameplay, and news, and consider supporting the channel by becoming a member by hitting the join button, becoming a patron on Patreon, or buying me a coffee. It's all greatly appreciated. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.